During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about lawn fertilization.
The first thing you need to do is get a soil test pulled. I would suggest going 6 inches deep. You may only go 4 inches deep. Either way, just tell the lab how deep you went, and then you can get recommendations about how to fertilize the lawn, and I'd recommend fertilizing accordingly. One thing to watch for on that soil test is your cation exchange capacity. It'll tell you how heavy your ground is and how much holding capacity it has for especially nitrogen. We would take in corn farming a number 10 times our cation exchange capacity to tell us how much nitrogen our soil could hold at any one time. Now, if it says a 10 for a cation exchange capacity, that means you could hold 100 pounds of nitrogen per acre. Now, you may say, well, I don't have a lawn that's an acre big. How big is my lawn? I need to know per 1,000 square feet. Well, just divide that number by 40 to get you pretty close. So in this case, you could hold 2.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet if you had a 10 cation exchange capacity.
The nitrogen thing is a really important deal, and the reason why it's so important is we want to make sure that we are properly fertilizing for the environment. We don't want extra nitrogen getting down into our groundwater. Now, the nutrient I wanted to talk about is the exact opposite of nitrogen. It's phosphorus. It's not going anywhere in your soil. In heavy ground, phosphorus, it might take 20 years to move an inch down in the ground, seriously. So when you lay phosphorus on the soil surface, that's a really bad thing. So if you do your soil test and you realize, uh-oh, I don't have any phosphorus in my soil, okay, if you want to put phosphorus on, don't lay it on the soil surface. That's not going to work. Either you're going to have to till it in and start over with your lawn, or you could knife it in and get it down 2 to 4 inches deep, at least in the ground. Then you should be good and safe. But just to always remember, phosphorus is the #1 water quality issue we have in the United States today. The big problem is if you lay it on the surface of your lawn, could run off with water, goes into the street, into the storm sewer, into the river. Now we've got an issue with algae.
So we've talked about nitrogen a little bit. We also want to talk about calcium and sulfur. Those are the 3 most important nutrients that you're probably going to be fertilizing with on your lawn. Now, it may not be the nutrients that everybody tells you about, but calcium is the most important nutrient for getting other nutrients into your plant. It's also really important for soil porosity. So if your lawn feels hard, chances are you need more calcium to get that lawn softened up. And then with sulfur, your crop needs a lot of it. We used to get it free from air pollution. We don't anymore, so now we need to apply it.
Okay, so if you need calcium, a lot of people will apply gypsum. That's calcium sulfate. And in terms of nitrogen and sulfur, if you need those 2 things, ammonium sulfate, that's a great fertilizer to use there.
Well, all those plant food things are great, but they aren't going to help you control our weed of the week. We'll show you what will stop this weed later in the show.